Class of 2020, I salute you. You are graduating, entering a whole new world at the same time that all of us, in a sense, are entering a new world. So much of the world as we knew it has been on pause. And I hope for all of you that as your world has narrowed, that it has been a time for you to think broadly, dream big, cherish the little, but also to clarify what it is that you value most in your own life, your relations with your family and friends, and what you want to do in the world. Because the world needs you, needs more of you. This is a time when we need the best of our engineers to build new ways of living and working. We also need the Imagineers to imagine our world anew, to imagine something different. Because in so many ways, what we had really wasn't working. And this will be the task of your generation. And we know that some of you went into lockdown angry with the world, with previous generations like mine, that we destroyed the planet and that some of us weren't doing enough to protect it. But even before this pandemic, this told us, your voice told us something important about your generation, that when you raised your voice for something so crucial, so essential as saving our planet, you told us not to use the old phrase that you are the leaders of tomorrow. You are the leaders of today. And not just the leaders of today, you're the leaders that you have these platforms and megaphones that are as close as the telephones that you now carry in your pocket. Now, I know you're going to say there's a lot to worry about, and there is, but every graduating class has had a lot to worry about. And often it's presented with this binary choice. Are you optimistic or are you pessimistic? When I graduated from university in Canada many years ago, I wanted a bit of optimism and pessimism in my life. And I fell back on what was a phrase of a well-known Italian Marxist, which was something along the lines of the optimism of the will and the pessimism of the intellect. Then as the years went on and I spent my time reporting from some of the darkest places on earth, some of the most terrible of conflicts, I needed a new mantra for me to live by. And so I adopted one from the South African Archbishop, Bishop Desmond Tutu. And he said, we are all prisoners of hope. We have to keep hoping because sometimes that's all we have left. We have to keep hoping. But you may say, and I may agree with you, hope is not a strategy. And so I offer you one that is my mantra of late. And it's one that I took from an old friend of mine who spends his time trying to end what seem like endless wars. And there's all this talk now about how we're living in a war through this pandemic. Well, he was working to try to end real wars. And he described himself as an active, very active pessimist. In other words, he knew that life can and will unravel. And we've seen so much of that in our time. So we need to have a sense that things will go bad. But more than that, graduates of 2020, you have to be armed with the resilience and the resolve to be active, to be really active, to go out into the world with all of that the education at Concordia has prepared you to do. And never mind that the world is in the state that it's in. Go out and do your part. You won't forgive yourself if you don't at least try to play a part at a time where everyone, wherever, however we live, we have to play our part in making this a much bigger, a much brighter world.